I'd like that.
So we have. At the end of the.
Good morning. Maybe, yes, holy cow. Okay, good morning. Welcome to Rotary. Let's tone this down just a little bit here. Good afternoon, Georgia for me. How's that? A little better? Maybe not quite as aggressive. Keep it up. Better now? Okay. All right. Welcome to Rotary. We're glad you are here. So, as per usual, today we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, there's a four-way test, and a patriotic song. We have a virtual reading by Megan, and then we've got an invocation by Brandon. There he is, Brandon. And we've got club announcements, a dad joke, and today is the day, summer. And then we're going to do fellowship at the end if there's time to make sure that summer has. So, all right, let's go ahead and start out with that Pledge of Allegiance. And today's patriotic song is God Bless America. So I'm wondering who can start us off? Who could start us off? Oh, Kathy.
God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Excellent job, everybody. Here you go, Megan.
The virtue for today is integrity. Integrity is standing up for what we believe is right. We keep faith with our ideals and live by our deepest values. We keep agreements reliably. Our actions match our words. We strive to balance impeccable integrity and unfailing tenderness for others and ourselves. We cherish the challenge of doing the right thing in all circumstances. We give excellence to whatever we undertake, and we live by our.
Thank you.
Right, this comes from the Rotary Club of Cocaine, Minnesota. The paths of our lives are filled with peaks and valleys. When we are on the top of our peaks, we become so self-satisfied that we tend to ignore the things of importance. When we are in a valley, we feel a sense of abandonment. And again, can focus only on what is directly ahead. Remind us, as you do in nature, that above the tree line, the mountaintops are barren, and only in the valleys we find the opportunity for true growth.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Take a seat and relax. There we go.
Space.
Okay, good. Okay. All right. A gambling update. Okay, we'll get to that with club announcements here. So, Mr. Cook, we've got a surprise for you. Murray, would you like to talk about the banner? There you go.
So the Faribault Rotary Club has sponsored banner to honor our member Richard Cook for his years of service as sheriff, and to this county in general. We had it put up last fall, but then he up and left and went to Mexico. So with the permission of Virginia Venslus, they are gonna put up again. It's actually staying up in front of the courthouse all through the summer and into this fall, so you can actually see it and enjoy it like the rest of us have all winter long when we were in Mexico. So everyone, please congratulate Dick and thank him for his service.
Dick, maybe you can set up a table underneath and sign autographs for people as they walk by.
Trying to keep a low profile.
Oh, okay. Let's give it Adopt a Highway, Laura or David, do either of you want to give an update on Adopt a Highway?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, well, thank you, everybody that came out for that Highway. Yeah, kind of a dual split purpose in here. We also did Cracker Creek at the same time. We had our kids up there as well. So thank you everybody that came out for that. There are a couple of parades that we have coming up as well. Starting with the Memorial Day Parade. We're doing a sign up next year for it. We are meeting basically on First Avenue Southwest. We are going to be taking Dr. Houston's Kubota tractor and handing out stickers, rotary stickers, and to the kids. If you don't want to walk with us, we do have the prairie trailer, so you can sit and wave as well. So it's like Canada. And you have nothing going on Monday morning at 10:30 a.m. Come join us. It'll be fun. Let's start back there.
Thank you very much. Laura has an announcement.
Thanks, Kurt. I will just add this to the clipboard of fun. So the Heritage Committee or the Heritage Days Committee reached out to me to ask if we could have some volunteers from Rotary show up and do some of the events at the park on Thursday and Friday and Saturday. They are looking for help during the parade and selling buttons at the beer garden if you want. So all the opportunities are on that top sheet there. It's a great time to volunteer with a friend, or if you want to bring your kids and have them volunteer with you at like the bounce house or the ninja thing that they bring in, the ninja trailer. It's just a few hours and you're down there with the community and you're doing service about self and you're having a really great time. It's always fun and always like going to a party. So sign up there and I will let the Heritage Day Committee know the time that we can take for them to help them out. So that's that.
Thank you very much. Chad, if you'd be willing to come up front.
Yes.
for your update.
Yes, indeed.
There we go.
So we quick update, so you don't move me off here because it's not the most exciting update, unfortunately. Just run through the numbers here real quick. We had a down month in E-tabs. We sold about $100,000 worth in April, compared to about $150,000 in March, so a 50% decline, which ultimately led to gross profits of $19,000 versus $25,000. So our margin was a little better, but aggregate dollars it was down. Paper tabs are about flat, $74,000 versus $76,000, but gross profits were down because the margin was worse, $12,000 was $14,000. The area where we are seeing a lot of attraction is bingo. We have $15,000 in sales in bingo, so a lot of energy going there. That's good to see. But unfortunately, we had a net loss of $2,000 for the month, which is due to $14,400 in taxes we had to pay to the government based on the amount of sales we've had this year so far. Next month, that number is only $11,000. So assuming everything goes the same as we did last month, we should have a profit. But that's it's very volatile performance. But the big objective today I wanted to discuss was that the legislature finalized their session, and the changes we had talked about at E-tabs is occurring. So, if you look at the email I sent out earlier, there's a nice little video about CARE 11 discussing what's going on with E-tabs and why this conversation got started. But essentially what happened, E-tabs were starting to help fund the Viking Stadium, as I understand, and have evolved through that time to basically become a slot machine, where you press one button and all three of your windows, as what they're called, open at once. Because it was acting like a slot machine, the Native American tribes had a monopoly over slot machines in the state and sued to stop ETABs from having that functionality, which went through the court system, and the court systems agreed. And quite frankly, I agree too. It looks exactly like a slot machine, you just press the button and away it goes. So that will be going away. But ETABs are not going away. So what exactly comes from ETABs, how much activity are they gonna continue to have? That's all very unknown right now. The changes do not occur till July 2024, so we have a few more months of continuing with the illegal ETABs, if you will. But there will be some adjustments, and again, it's very difficult to predict. On the positive note, the revenue share that we have to share with our ETABs provider has fallen to 25%. We are currently sharing 31%, so that will fall to 25% in July 2024. So that should offset some of the margin loss, income loss that we see. But again, people might protest the government because there's a change coming. Maybe they move the paper tabs. Maybe they say, fine, I just have to press the button a couple times more. Who knows? It'll be interesting to see where things go from there. So that is the gist of today's notice, but we have to approve our expenses. So just gonna run through them all again here. We have, well, let me one more topic. The audit is almost done for us. Finally, it's been a little bit long. So I think they're doing a pretty good job. They've been easy to work with. I think, Brenda, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's gone well.
So hopefully we'll get a good feedback and we can pour a lot of happy dollars into the jar next month when we get that report. It's verifying that we have done well in our first go round. So getting back to our expenses, we have $250 for CG Made Easy, $3,500 for inventory. We have quite a bit of inventory. Brenda's trying to run it down, so that's why a little smaller allocation there. $2,800 for the gambling team, $10,000 for M. Peters, which is our revenue share, our ETABS provider, $1,000 for the city, $7,000 for boxers, $2,500 for miscellaneous expenses such as payroll, and sometimes Brenda has first bingo, Yeti bingo, and then I'm not sure if we need to approve this or not, but we already approved it at the youth services board level, but the membership should probably approve it because next month we're probably going to pay the $10,000 for the audit. So with that, can I get a first on those expenses?
I'll make a first.
President Kirk, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Who's that, Dr. Houston? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. I just took a big bite of nacho. That's delicious. All right, Keith, would you like to come up for a new member induction? I can get back to my nachos. Hey. Perfect. It's a win-win. That's good. Well, all excited for the people love it, right? To come up for the new member induction. This is exciting. Really, it's your table. I just kind of joined you, so that's probably the truth. So, fellow Rotarians, it's a joy to add new members so that we can continue to make a tangible difference locally and around our world. And today we welcome Ryan and Ellie Holmquist. You've been chosen to membership in the Rotary Club of Faribault because your fellow members believe you are a leader in your profession and because you manifest virtues which fit the overall theme of Rotary, which is service above self. The object of Rotary is to encourage and to foster the ideal of service, and in particular to promote, number one, the development of new relationships with the club, leading to new or better service opportunities that are meant to be fun. Number two, high ethical standards in business and profession, understanding the ability we have to serve society through a unique and professional act. Number three, the application of service above self in personal and community life. And number four, the advancement of international understanding, goodwill, and peace brought about by serving alongside those across our globe. So we charge you to judge yourself by the Rotary 4-way test of the things you think, say, and do. Was it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill to better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? I always hope I remember that whole thing. To the best of your ability, seek to live out the Rotary 4-way test. Awesome. This is good. So let us inspire and encourage one another through Rotary to become a more virtuous people, and we could inspire while having fun at the same time. We'll ask all of our members to rise. The name of the Rotary Club of Faribault, and now formally induct you into our club. Welcome, Ryan and Ellen. You may be seated, and we have a few things for you. We have these fun little points here. So Rotary Quarterly Fest that you can stay in the pocket. We currently have pens on order, so we'll also give you nice Rotary pins as well. And it's a bit of membership of each of you. And we're really just so happy to have you in the club. So thank you. We're happy to be here. Okay. Get to take a photo. So. Great. Last week, Keith filled in for me while I was out, and I know the dad joke didn't go over super well, and he tried to blame it on me, but I didn't. 100%. It was all the delivery.
Well, you tried, he blamed you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. All right. You want me back in there? No. Right. Oh.
Fine.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right, time for another amazing dad joke. You guys are like, just one more month of this, one more month. All right. So Natalie and I went out to supper the other night. Server said, "You want a box for your leftovers?" And I said, "No, but wrestle you for them." Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Stand with Slim Jim. Now, I will tell you that when it comes to the animated gifts, Macho Man Randy Savage is my spirit animal. So many great gifts out there. He was just in his own world. Awesome, 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 awesome. Okay, so Summer, come on up here for the much anticipated Summer Cunningham classification speech.
Can you use the mic?
Yes.
I probably should, because you guys lost my voice for the last 2 days. I wish I was going, but I have some of it back today. So put you in best. I have a rag to cough in, water to drink, and forgive me if I put a lozenge in my mouth while I'm talking. But before I get started, I just want to say how much I really enjoyed this club. It's been so much fun getting to know everybody, and what a great organization that honors its members like this, that I get a chance to talk about my story and my life and the things that I've accomplished in the past, things that my husband and I have accomplished in the past, and I just think that this is so great. I'm only sorry that I didn't get to see most of yours. We should like, if the one recording, we need a day where we can just do like the highlights of it. Anyways, I wouldn't call myself a professional public speaker, but I would call myself an experienced public speaker. We lived in Seattle, Washington for 10 years, and we were actually IBOs of the Amway business, International Business Owners. What is it called? Independent business owners. For 16 years, and we reached a level that put us on stage in front of thousands of people, and we got to tell our story a few times, and it was a lot of fun. And we're not as active as we used to be, but it was part of my life and part of my story. So I do have some public speaking experience, but not much. Anyways, the Cunninghams. And Daniel and I both grew up here in town. I don't know if you can pick us out. I think this is the 10th or 11th grade. We're both in the same class. Yeah, I'm guessing already. That's Nathaniel.
That's me. Kind of changed a bit, right? Yeah, actually, I'm outside of the town in Kansas City Township, off of Eiler Avenue, where my brother now lives on his farm. And let's see, he grew up in town across the street from Donahue. These are my three brothers. I am the only girl. This picture we recreated a couple of years ago. It's my mom. She thought that was so fun. Actually, she rolled her eyes a lot. Jeremy, my older half brother, he actually was full-time with his dad, so I didn't really grow up with him. He's also 7 years older than me. So I consider myself to be the oldest in my family, but not really the oldest in the family. And then I have two younger brothers. I was born May 15th. And then 3 months later, my mom got pregnant with Ben in the yellow. And he was born May 6th. So I wasn't even one, he was born. And 3 months later, she got pregnant with Will, and he was born May 2nd, before Ben was even one. So she had her hands full for sure. Daniel and I started dating in high school. Nikki went off to be in the Army. It's a lovely photo of him at basic graduating with his lovely BCGs. You guys know what that stands for in the military? Birth control glasses. That's him in the upper left hand corner. Oh, I have to say, I really hope this presentation lives up to all the anticipation.
It already is.
Slides. But anyways, lots of military pictures. That's one of us at one of our functions. I'm trying to remember everything's what I wanted to say. Then we got married. We met in high school, dated for 3 years, and then we got married when we were babies. We were both 20. I think it was maybe a month shy of his 21st birthday. And then 1 year into our marriage, he went on his first appointment to Iraq. And he was there, supposed to be there for a year, but then they ended up, Bush was president at the time, ended up extending it to 15 months. And not to get really sad, but I remember getting that news, and 4 days after he left, I found out I was pregnant with our first child. So when we found out that his appointment was extended, I just remember sobbing on the floor for bedroom because I, had a brand new baby, very stressed out, but we made it home, luckily. That was one of his most active deployments where he had a lot of boots on the ground. He ended up getting blown up 11 times while he was there. The equipment that he uses has to shut off any cell phone signal jammers that prevent the IEDs from going off. So an IED would go off either by a text message or by a phone call to the device and it would explode. So he was 11 explosions that we're aware of is what he went through. And thankfully, he didn't share any of that with me while I was at home. I knew maybe. I only found out later. The Army moved us out to Seattle, Washington. I used to say that I used to live in Washington for 10 years, and people always assume DC. So I just say we live in Seattle. When actually we lived in a town called Faribault Rotary, which is about 20 minutes, 20 miles from south of Seattle. We lived there for about 10 years. We had 2 boys, 2 girls, and we decided that we were going to move back to Minnesota. That picture there is at the Nature Center. I think that was a birthday or Mother's Day that we were talking about. Our oldest, Brianna, is now 16. Our second, Avery, she is almost 14. Gavin is 11, and it is 7. 2 boys, 2 girls. Got a tattoo. Their names are in Morse code on my hand, and they're arrows. There's a Psalms 127, I believe. I can remember the verse, but not the address. Like arrows in the hands of warriors, sword of the children of one's youth, and blessed is he whose quiver is full. So we were really blessed to have lots of girls, or lots of kids, 2 boys, 2 girls, but then we found out we were pregnant with the 5th. We were done. 2 boys, 2 girls, we thought it was perfect. And then we found out that we had Nolan. Nolan was pregnant with Nolan. was born in 2019. We love him. He's obviously meant to be here because Nathaniel had 2 appointments that were canceled on him, and then we found out we were pregnant with no one. So he was meant to be here. 2020 was a busy year for us. Nathaniel and Jordan started at Mighty Fine Coffee Roasters. And I know he spoke about it a little bit. He has big plans for town. He has had his dream of owning a coffee business since he was a teenager, since I've known him. Plans for Faribault, like, I know we talked about this a little bit, I can't remember all the details that he said, but Faribault is a town of like 22,000, but there's pockets of communities in our town that don't really mix. And his plan is to get the communities to mix so that we can all become one big diverse community that mixes together like we should. You know, we have 5,000 from the Shattuck St. Mary's, we've got 5,000 from the Bonnie Best School, we've got 5,000 Somali population, 5,000 German farmers population, and coffee is the common denominator among all of those, what's the word? Demographics, communities. So he's got big plans to start a coffee house somewhere downtown in the future to mix our community so that we can be the good representation. In 2020, we also met our good friends Ryan and Ellie, and we decided that we were going to go in on some property together. So we all moved to Faribault and we bought Old Andrews Nursery, which has been a lot of fun and no regrets. I mean, other than the wall that collapsed on us, but it's a very old building and it's about 100 years old. This part of it right here was built in 1920, and it goes back a little ways, and that's actually where our venue space is going to be. My cousin got married there in November last year. It was a beautiful wedding, so that's the inside of it. It has these beautiful old stone walls, and it's just so much fun. It's been so much fun having that space. We've done 2 large family Thanksgiving dinners there, Christmas there, we do movie nights there. We have a lot of fun in this space. Recently, thanks Marie for taking that picture of me. Recently opened up the coffee cart at the Crossroads building right in front of Virginia Clinic. That has been so much fun. May 1st is when we started it. It has been more busy than we expected. We've received a lot of great feedback, a lot of friendly feedback. People love having us there, and we are just so grateful to be a part of that building and to have our first multi-binary school location open. My kids, more recent pictures of my kids. There's my 16-year-old Brianna, my almost 14-year-old Avery, Gavin, Emmett, and Nolan holding the chicken. These guys are why these guys make me who I am. I love them dearly. They're my children. I love my husband dearly. I feel really blessed to have the life that I have. And I'm blessed to be here to share it with all of you guys. So thank you so much for having me. And I'm just so grateful that God has given me these 5 beautiful children to raise. So with that is my story, a little bit of it. And I will take questions now if anybody has any.
I just saw the sign on Janet's Market Grill.
Oh yeah.
Well, what's that about?
We partnered with Jana at the coffee cart, so we have some of her food offerings at the cart for lunches, salads and wraps and sandwiches and things like that. That's been fun too. Jana's an amazing person to work with. We really enjoyed getting to know her as well. Yeah. Any other questions?
What does, while you're drinking, what does a normal week look like for you guys at your house?
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, that's a great question. I didn't really talk about that. Prior to the coffee cart, I was a stay-at-home mom and I homeschool all 5 of my kids. And that was a product of 2020. I was the kind of person that thought, well, I could never homeschool, that I would want to kill my kids. I used to say that I would threaten them with setting them on the curb with a free sign. So crazy. But surprised at how much I enjoy homeschooling and teaching them and seeing them grow and blossom and allowing them to pursue their desires and what they want to do growing up. My oldest is really excited about ASL. She wants to be an ASL interpreter. She's really good at it. She's not shy. That's something I did not tell you. Growing up, I used to be so shy, like into my young adult years, into my early 20s. So shy that I wouldn't even go to the grocery store without my husband. I would wait for him to get home from work and I wouldn't go by myself. I think I was mostly worried about what people thought of me, which, to be honest, nobody's thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves, right? Which is what I was doing. I was thinking about myself. I learned that. So if there's anybody in here that's always worried about what other people think, they're not thinking about you, I promise. Sorry, but they're not. Also, another story about being really shy. I remember when we first moved to Fort Lewis, Washington, we had done a partial do-it-yourself move. And Nathaniel had this paperwork that he needed me to take into the housing office to file so that we could get reimbursed for our money that we had spent on moving. I had my paper and I brought it into the office and I handed it to the lady. She looked at it and she said, "This is not the right paperwork." And I said, "Okay." Now, normally, like you would say, "Well, what's the right paperwork? What do I need to bring in?" I said, "Okay," turned around and left. And as soon as I got outside, I started bawling and I begged my husband not to make me go back there. It was painfully shy, and I'm very happy that I don't about it because that was fun. But typical week, back to your question.
No, that's okay. Let's keep talking.
Yeah, it's all good. Typical week, I would homeschool. Now that we're into the summertime, that's kind of winding down. Now the things that they do on their own, like math and reading, they do by themselves. I do an online math program that I don't do math. So somebody else teaches me math. And but now the cart is open. I open it Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. My daughter closes it. And she's taking one course at the high school. She's taking ASL. When she's done this week, she will be permanently closing it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Because I go back, like after this, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna close it down because she has school. But yeah, typical week is after I get home from shutting it down, I'll make sure the kids have done their work and I will help them with anything they need help with and I'll cook dinner. And we now have started gardening. It's gardening season for us, and we have currently 2,500 square foot garden that we're expanding, possibly doubling it. It's really a lot of plants around. So very busy season for us right now. Yeah. Any other questions? Mark.
Tell us a little more about your vision for the event center that you're.
Oh, yeah, so, excuse me, for the event space, the four of us really wanted to have the space, not only just to have weddings, we all love weddings, and weddings are so much fun, and it's a happy time, some people's best of their life. But we really just wanted to have it to be available to the community. We all have a love for the community and a love for Faribault, and we want to do things like have family events like movie nights or free events for families to participate in, to come and watch movies or do other things that we want to do in the event space. So we're just really hoping, and I don't want to sound arrogant saying this, but we're hoping to be a blessing, to be able to be a blessing to other people and to the community with the event space. You already are. Oh, thank you. What's that?
Is somebody else?
No, just comment.
Okay, well, two things. Andrew's nursery used to have apples. It still have apples?
It does, it still has lots of apples.
Okay.
The trees have been neglected for the past however many years. So we've started trimming them and giving them some TLC and just to hopefully bring them back to life. And we actually just planted 4 more apple trees. So.
And the other part of that, you got a lot of buildings.
A lot.
Do you use all of that?
Yes, we do. We were just joking the other day, like, unfortunately, we use all of it. No, it's a space, we do have some storage. Church in Casson was giving away their pews, and so we have those stored in. I go back to it. and kind of show you where
That's the,
so this part here, there's like an upper level, this rounded roof part. So now there's a building, they're all connected. So if you come and visit, you can tour, you'll go through the doors and you're like, where are we now? So up here we have all of our things stored and some tables that we got. And for me, we're Christian, God has seriously blessed us. He gave us 200 settings for plates and forks and cups, and then we got the pews, and then Buffalo Wild Wings was renewing their interior, and we got all the tables and chairs, and it's Ryan made a funny statement like, gee, I wish God would tell us, you know, that we're doing the right thing. But I just like received so many blessings that we never done in time. And then here is the upper portion, the previous owners in the 80s renovated the offices into a residential area. So that is where we live, and then the lower portion is where Brian and Ellie live, and they'll tell you all their story, but they want to build a house eventually out back. This is an office that my brother rents. Will, you met him, he's the videographer, so he does his work up here. This will be our future master. Right now we have a room that is our bed. And this is like attic space that will potentially turn into a cigar lounge minus the cigars. And then there's a whole more, there's a lot more space past that garage door that we just use for storage. So, yeah, any other questions? Yes.
For your 5 kids, could you describe each of them with like one hashtag or 1 or 2?
Oh, I don't, maybe. Let's see, Brianna is brave. And, like, for me, to watch a 16-year-old with so much personality and, her first job ever at the car, and saying hello to everybody and being so welcoming. She's very brave, and I grew up very shy and insecure. So to watch her, she's so brave and every day I inspire her. Avery, she's fun. She has a lot of love in her. She loves her little brothers. Well, not one, but she is already done. She had a video of her when Emmett was a baby. She was singing to him and rocking in the chair. She didn't always there, but she just loves her little brothers. Gavin is goofy. He is the kid that will just fall to the ground just to be funny. And one day he's like, I don't know, I have this scratch on my arm. And we're like, you know, it's probably one of the many times you were, you know, pratfalling. It's like, oh yeah, maybe. Emmett is fancy. He's my fancy kid. He loves to wear. When Daniel's mother passed away, we got him a little suit, like a vest and nice pants, and he'll wear his vest with like t-shirts. He just loves to wear his fancy clothes. We've got a little floor that he loves to. And Nolan is lovable. He's my cuddler. He loves all it's the cats. That's Cheese Ball, that's Avery's cat. He gives all the animals kisses, and he's just a loving kid. So, yeah. Anything else? Great.
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to let you did an awesome job, Summer. You're kidding.
I am doing an awesome job. I don't shoot for that. This has been good. Thank you so much, you guys, for listening. And I think that it has been quite comical that it took 3 times of the schedule to get me here. But I'm also grateful because it could have happened to someone who had on the schedule to speak to, or had to speak, and that would have been kind of embarrassing. And I don't care that you guys scheduled.
Thank you so much. One more hand. She was always so graceful and understanding, and it's just so appreciative, and it's well worth the wait. So, let's check the time here. We have time, of course. Would you be willing to lead us to
what do you have?
We have about 15 minutes.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, yeah, so maybe keep it brief, and, would you like me to follow you around with the cup?
I would love it.
I got it. Thank you so much, Kate. All right.
Try.
Working to do this over the 15-minute announcement.
Tech fellowship is a good comment.
Rich, I don't think you have a 5 in here.
Let's remember, this is Memorial Day weekend. Is there anybody that would like to take words Memorial to memory anybody?
Anybody that'd like to share any memorials or memories of people who've worked, or other things that they want to share?
Anything, yeah, Memorial Day.
Yeah, Memorial Day. I have two brothers, one in Korea, one in Vietnam, and, my brother in Vietnam died from Agent Orange, so, the people that have served in the service and other service professions are really, really important. Try to honor them as much as I can. I think I told you one time, I made little slips of paper that says thank you for the service, a little flag on it. I put it on the windshields. If I see a car that, a purple heart or whatever, it indicates a person in the service or a fireman or whatever. I put that under the windshield. A guy called me the other day, he said, what's up? I'm showing him, he almost got tears in his eyes. And they like to be thanked and should be thanked. So that's that. I was up at Prior Lake this morning. Sam sends his greetings down. Sam and Kyle met with us, and we're putting our heads together for the Cambodian project. But most important today, a good friend, Peter, complained a little bit last week about kids coming on the bus with their plants. And so feeling a little dirty on the floor of the bus. So Peter, I want to help you clean it up. Yeah. Thank you very much. My grandfather flew in World War II, and shot down, see the Purple Heart, and just said, anyone else? Anyone here?
Anyone here thinking on Memorial Day?
I have a lot of memories from my old days in the Air Force. They're passing away right and left now. And I have a brother-in-law who served in World War II, one in Normandy, and the other was in the South Pacific. And one in the South Pacific was in the, we made a memory or a book, and we had that book. It's really quite outstanding, where they've gone from island to island and were captured and things like that. And my other brother-in-law, who didn't speak much of the war, but he was in the, after the invasion at Omaha Beach, he sort of cleaned up part. I think they cleaned up the bodies and so anyway, that's my remembrance of Memorial Day.
George. Oh, I'm sorry. There you go.
Yep.
Well, my memories go back to the mid-50s when I was over in Heidelberg, Germany, compliments the United States Army. But from Memorial Day to Labor Day, on Friday afternoons, we were all dismissed. And we were to get on our best gear, put on our hard helmets and blouse our boots and so forth. And we went and had a parade every Friday. And one of the generals, we had a number of generals there, was a reviewing officer. And every Friday we did that review, and at the end they played the Star Spangled Banner. And I tell you, I got a lump in my chest every time. Anyone else over here?
I just want to say thank you to all who served and are serving. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Brandon.
I'll echo the comments of our former sheriff and thank all those who served in the past. And I just want to make sure that we recognize my as well. Welcome to our club.
Thank you.
Brief also, but thanks to all of you for those service and your families. And good job, Summer, today. It was really great to see Sheriff today also.
How we do it over here? Okay.
So I had a grandma who served in Korea, who had an older brother who served in Vietnam, and another older brother who served in World War II. Farm family, 8 kids, yeah. But when I did my genealogy as a pandemic project, I requested copies of their war records, which I had to get my mom to do because you have to be next of kin. But if you haven't done that, I definitely recommend it. It's really, really interesting. I even like kind of mapped out where he went through Korea, and it was really cool.
Yeah, my father-in-law was in San Diego in the Navy, World War II and Korean War, and that's why they allowed me to be part of the Sons of American Legion. But just a reminder for Monday, 9 o'clock Monday at the courthouse is the Veterans Program. Then, or the memorial program, then at 10 o'clock there is the parade, which is a solemn parade. There's no candy, no honking of horns and stuff. At 11 o'clock Memorial Day program in Central Park. 12 o'clock there's a luncheon at the Legion, and then at 1 o'clock there's the Veterans Memorial Ceremony in Shieldsville as well, if you like to attend
that. So yeah, both of my grandparents, grandfathers, served in the Army, and after getting out of the Army, one of my grandpas worked as an engineer and helped design like the Nike Zeus missile, so like some like missiles. Really good guys. My brother-in-law is in the Space Force out in Colorado, so yeah, also a good guy. So. I was reminded as I drove in today, I just want to mention this. So all through the summer in high school and in college, I worked for Ultimate Events, the group that's out there right now building tents. We work 7 days a week in the hot sun. It started at 8 in the morning in Bloomington, and we just work all day long sometimes until like midnight, sometimes until 5 p.m., sometimes until 2 in the morning, all summer, June all the way until late August. And made a lot of good money that way, but also it was backbreaking. And so yeah, as every time I see those guys out there, see them around town, see them other places, I'm just reminded of the opportunities and the blessings that I've been given, the chance to be able to work there, but also that I'm right here right now, and I'm just thankful. So yeah.
Anyone else over here?
Kate, right behind us. Kate.
Okay.
I don't have it.
That's okay.
Thanks, Mark. I'm thankful for my father. He was in World War II, stationed in Germany, went over on the Queen Mary, and we found out way after both my parents died that he was a sharpshooter and captured enemy. We never knew. He never talked about it. My uncle, his brother was in the Korean War. My children's dad, we were in nuclear power submarines and went under for 3 months and never surfaced until the 3 months was over. All of his family was all Navy. So I have a lot of family that's been in the military and I appreciate them all.
Thank you. Anyone up here?
Just want to recognize all service people, past and present. My son has two really good friends who are just graduating from Faribault High School, Braden Botke and Sam Roeder, who are going into the Army National Guard. And want to welcome our new members and Summer, great job, worth the wait. And then for those of you who are maybe not on Facebook or living under a rock or don't know, want to announce?
We're engaged.
So a couple weekends ago, Kurt planned a mystery day trip over to Wisconsin along the Mississippi and proposed to me at a scenic overlook. And if you have a chance, watch our little video that we made. It's really special. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, okay, sure. Natalie gives me a hard time because I had sent her an Outlook calendar invite for the day, but the calendar's busy, things get busy. I'm like, I've got a lot of things, you know, riding on this and coordinated where I just want something else to pop up and be like, hey, oh, we're doing this thing instead. So, yeah, so there's a good reason for that. And I just wanted to put a couple bucks in. My dad was in the infantry in Vietnam in 1966 as a part of the draft, and my grandpa George Quigley was in the Air Force in the early 40s for World War II. He had volunteered to be a tail gunner on a B-17 bomber, but he was too tall, and so he was a mechanic instead. So, yeah.
Real quick though, Kurt.
Yes.
Back to the Outlook calendar. Does this now mean that you're engaged because you guys can have a shared calendar?
Yeah.
In the relationship before the wedding?
Shared calendars. We'll let you know. Yeah.
No shared Facebook profiles though.
That only means that.
All right, George.
I've got two things. One, my uncle Roy was in the Navy. He was over there February 1942, just about 2 months after the war started. And he was over there for 4.5 years. And he came back and he was married before he went into and he had a daughter born while he was over there. He got back 4.5 years and then he was shipped out again. And he was only home for about 2 weeks. And I'm telling you, when he went back, he just was bald. He didn't want to go back. Never saw anybody crying about it. Just lost it. The other thing is that I've been on the Believers organization for about 6 years, and my term of duty is over about next month. And I want to say a few words about these guys. We can train 10 dogs a year. This last 10 training, only 7 made it. Now we lose veterans every week, 100 a year in Minnesota. And we have a waiting list of about 35, 40 people. We've got to tell people, if we're going to get a dog, we've got to wait about 3 years. See, we're losing people that are waiting for a dog. So we're trying to grow the organization. And I want to go off the board. If anybody who wants to know a little more about that, I will be glad to visit with them on the board. I would appreciate it. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, George. Thank you, everybody, for all the things that you shared today in the fellowship. Thank you, Summer. Excellent job. Really appreciate it. Thank you all for being here and being excellent folks here. Go out there, be kind, and we will see you all next week.
One board member.